the dual run capacitor on the outdoor unit. It is one of the most commonly failed parts on the outdoor unit because of what it does. It runs and protects major components, one being the outdoor fan motor, the other being the compressor. The dual run capacitor can fail multiple different ways. Temperature, oil leakage, it's got a dielectric oil in it. It can swell, and if it swells, it's got little strips in it that can break, and it loses its capacitance, the ability to operate the components that it controls. If the breaker is not tripped and the outdoor unit's just not operating, that's one indication, the fan motor not running, or if the fan motor's running and the compressor is not. So if one or both components on the outdoor unit are operating, it could be an indication that the dual runs fail. Each one of those parts have a capacitance plus or minus a percentage. And usually if you know how to read a meter, then absolutely a homeowner can check it that way. But that's one thing that we check on our maintenance is the microfarad capacitance. And as long as it's within a tolerance of the rating, it's absolutely fine that way. The other way is if they open the panel up and it's got oil leakage around the top or around each of the terminals, that's one indication that it's getting ready to fail, or it may have already failed. You can replace just a component. In some cases, if you have to replace the capacitor a lot, like very often, that could be an indication that something's causing it as well. A motor or a compressor could be taking out those capacitors. So that kind of leads into another component that you can add to help the compressor, and that's a compressor saver. What that does is it reduces the amperage and startup when the compressor initially starts, and that can actually help save the life of that capacitor as well. So on an AC check, that is, I mean, with hands down, no questions asked, that is one thing that, or a couple key things that gets checked. Those are the most commonly failed parts, with the exception of, leaking evaporator coils and stuff like that, drain lines this time of year. Anytime you get above really 80 degrees, drain lines are a major culprit in a lot of our service calls. That leads right into why maintenance is very important, because of sealant damage and floor damage, and water causes a lot of damage for our industry.